That means the market cap could double for Zee.
Thank you, Shrishti, for actually taking us through the news flow that we've got on Zee Entertainment, and that they have agreed to go ahead to merge with Sony India. But to talk more on that, what it means for the stock, what it means for the entire segment or the sector as a whole, we are joined by Abneesh Roy of Edelweiss Securities. Good afternoon, Abneesh. Thank you for joining us on ET Now. Very simple question first up. What does this deal actually mean for Zee Entertainment? A big news, despite given that the news flows that we've had over the past few weeks on Zee Entertainment, this is completely the opposite of that. A merger with Sony India. What does this actually mean for Zee Entertainment and the industry as a whole?
Yeah, this is a very interesting move by the promoters, and when we had released a previous note, we had highlighted that volatility in this development will remain, and promoters will try to remain in the company. I think this development, if it gets approved, and you need approval of the minority investors, the regulators, once that happens, I think this will address most of the key concerns minority investors had. So one, of course, the promoter will be Sony Corporation of Japan, and the board will be decided by them. So that will address the corporate governance concern. Second is the combined entity will become the #1 entertainment company of the country with almost 26-27% market share, ahead of Star, which is at 24% market share. And in terms of some of the gaps we has in terms of content, he is weak in comedy, thriller genres, and Sony is very strong there. So that also addresses the white spaces which Zee has. And as you rightly said, sports also gets added. Sports is very important for OTT networks. Important to note that Zee in fact had sold sports business to Sony few years back, and now sports comes back. I don't think that's a concern necessarily, because in the last few years things have changed. And if you see Hotstar, most of the subscribers for Hotstar are because of the cricket and IPL. So to that extent, for OTTs especially, having sports business is very, very important. And this deal, if it gets approved, addresses that. Now coming to Puneet, some of the investors might still see that as a concern. But in my view, in the current scenario, Puneet will provide continuity. He is a person who has led Zee in a decent manner, in the sense he has exited the loss-making channels, had seen a lot of success in the regional and South Indian channels. Plus, he has got a low-cost, sustainable strategy. Unlike, say, many of the competitors which have a very high-cost ABC and those kind of very high-cost content, he has got a more sustainable strategy. So having Puneet as the MD for combined entity hopefully should translate into gains for Sony's business in terms of cost dynamics also. In any merger, the risks are always there, whether approvals will happen, whether the cultural fitment will happen. Those things we would need to watch out. What happens on the EGM, that continues to remain an uncertainty, and you need to watch out that also. But overall, I think this is structurally a very positive deal in the medium long term, and most of the concerns do get addressed. There are some common channels between the two. For example, in Hindi, they'll have 4 or 5 GCs put together. Of course, in the long term, I don't think combined entity will need so many of those GCs, and some would get rationalized. Those are issues in terms of TV. In OTT, again, I don't think there will be 2 apps in the long run if this deal happens. And again, there also rationalization will happen. But overall, in terms of content, they will become India's most dominant player, and so will also get added.
Right.
Yes.
Right, Abneesh, a very, very strong and detailed answer. Could you also just talk to us about, the media business globally itself has seen a lot of consolidation. Disney has acquired a few, some others globally have done this. If it happens through, also will be a decently big size consolidation in the sector. So media sector consolidation is happening worldwide.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Media will continue to see disruption, and lot of that disruption will drive the consolidation. If you compare a Netflix app and some of the Indian OTT apps, Netflix app is far, far superior in terms of user experience, and that's because you need lot of investments in terms of the software, etc., to happen for that OTT. Now with $1.5 billion coming into the combined entity, if the approval happens, there will be enough investments available for the OTT upgrade and the content upgrade. Yes, in media, we will continue to see consolidation globally and India also, because as fragmentation happens because of the new genres and as disruption happens because of new technology, players who are not nimble enough, they will get completely gobbled up by the bigger and larger and more agile players. But here I would say this combined entity will become extremely important in the ecosystem, and they should do well if run in the right strategic direction.
All right, we leave it at there. Abneesh, thank you for joining us on the show and giving us your take on Zee-Sony merger news and what it means for Zee Entertainment and the media industry as a whole. That was Abneesh Roy of Edelweiss Securities. Moving on, earlier in the day, we also spoke to Amit Tandon of